Hello friends, welcome back to the part 4 of our Rust to do CLI app mini series. And in the previous part we have coded the task struct which will be responsible for that task, and we also have coded the new function for the initialization and the display function to display that task. So in this part we are going to build the main brain of our app which will be responsible for all the CRUD operations, and this is the main part of our app. So let's just start, and for that we also need the for the main part we will also define the struct, and we will name it our to-do app. And in this to-do app, the first field which we need is obviously the tasks, and there will be a multiple task, and we will define it as the vector, and we will store it in the form of the arrays. So each task will be in the we are going to store in the array, like the first one. So for first struct, second struct, all the task struct will be stored in the form of the vector, and the type should be obviously task, which we have coded in the previous video. And every time we need to, if we create a task, we need to increment that id. So for that we need the id as well, and we will name it we will the type of should be unsigned 32. And I think that's it for the to do abstract. And maybe it should be not the id, it should be next id. It's a more appropriate name. And so next id, so we are going to increment it one by one. And so now let's add the implementation block for this to do app. And what we need here, so the first thing is we need the initialization function. So we will create a new function. This will return the self, and for the initialization we will initialize the task with the vector new, and the next id will be, so the first id will be 1, and we will increment it for the other task. Let's say user id, the first task, so the already assigned id will be 1, next id will be 1. So if user created the second task, then we will going to increment that number to the 2, so that second task id will be 2. And that's a super simple thing. I don't think so it needs any kind of the explanation. And what else we need? So for the new function, yes, everything is done. So the important function, which is the for the if you see the first one is the get task. So we are going to write the function for the add task. This will be an add task. This function will not return anything, and this function will have only the self param. So for, let's say, user press the 1 for the add task. So the first thing which we are going to show the prompt to the user is the description, because id is already implemented by our code, and the status is by default false. So we don't need those two things. We need the description from the user. And for description we have already coded our get input function, and the prompt is the enter task description. And also I think it will be good to define the type of, okay, type as well. So we got the description now, and what we need to do now for the add task, now we need to create the task. So for the task we have already task struct, and we will get a new, we need the id. So for the id, what we need here, we will use that self dot, not the id, it's the self dot next id. And and description we got from the user. Okay, now we need to what we need to do, we need to there's a task dot, and we will going to push that task into the vector, and we will prompt the user that new task is created, or we can say that task added successfully. Okay. And now the most important part, don't forget to increment that id. This is the main part of our app, so not main part of our app, so this the for this add task function we need to increment that id. So for that what we need, next id will be, okay, so now it's going to, first time it will, we have defined it 1, so it's 1, and if user is going to create the second task, this function will get called, and then already existing id will be, next id will be 1, so we will be incremented by 1. Okay, so that's it for our uh, let's make this code a little bit cleaner. Okay, it's now looking good. So the task, our task function is completed, and what else we need here now? Okay, so a task is completed. Now we will be creating the second part, is the view tasks. Okay, so we have to display all the tasks to the user. For that we will create a function called view tasks, because it will display all the tasks and it will not return anything. Return type will be nothing. And what we need here, we need the self for that. Okay, so the first thing which we need to check here is the let's say we have to check that whether there are tasks exist or not. So for that there is already previewed. For that we will check that if task start is empty, there is a function is empty, then we will just simply user to display the no task yet. Okay, and for the else part we will just simply make a loop. For that we will say that self dot person, and we have already the display function for that. That's why I have created that reusable function, so we can use it like in this part, or if in the future if we need in any other place, we can simply call that function. So let's just call that what's the function name, display. Okay, so now this display will display all the tasks, and I think it's we are done for creating view task for this. And what we need to do now, so everything I think is completed. Implement task, and we have called the task. Okay, and so now the main part of our app, what we need to do here, for the main part we need to initialize the app, and we need a mutable variable for our app, which will be, because we are going to add, view, update and delete, so we will be doing some kind of modifications for all the CRUD operations. So that's why we need a mutable variable for our app, and we will call that app variable name app, which is a more suitable name. And what we need to do now, we will initialize our app. Okay, and we don't need anything else. But for the below part, so like the I mean the all the from code, like below this the app part, we need a loop, because we are going to show all this prompt to the user again and again until and unless user press the 5 for the exit. and we will terminate that. And because let's say if user want to add the one task, and after that the user needed the second task to be gets added, so it should be, the prompt should be in loop. So we will not going to terminate our app until and unless user press the 5. So what we need to do now, uh, we are going to cut that code here, and we will be, wait a second, what happened? Okay, now we are good to go. It's intended perfectly fine. This, so we have okay, so we have our app now. So for the, to check whether user pressed what from 1 to 5, which number user pressed, for that we will using the match, and we will have to remove the underscore from this variable because we are going to use it. And okay, so for the first part we are going to call the, so 8 task, for the 8 task we will call the 8 task, and for the second we are going to call the view task, and for the fifth value we are going to exit our program. So we will I think uh, we need to show some kind of a message to the user as well. Let's say a goodbye, and we are going to break this loop. And with that, let's say user entered any kind of a wrong values or the wrong input, we need to display some kind of a message to the user as well, that invalid choice, please try again. And what else we need here? For that we will also break the loop. Okay, no, we will not break the loop this time. We will, now it's, we are good to go. Okay, so for the one we will be going to 8 task, and for the all the, for this pressing of the digit 2 we will be showing all the tasks to the user. So I think we have to test this, and whether this, if there is some kind of issues, then we have to resolve that as well. So let's test this. So make it clean, and then we will run our app. Okay, okay, I got it. We have made a little mistake here. So for that 8 tasks, this should be in a mutable self. Okay, because we are going, we are like, and this should be, okay, not that one. Okay, let's test it again. Let's press any number other than 1 to 5. Invalid choice, please try again. We got the message, and let's exit this time. Loop, goodbye loop gets terminated. Now let's run our app again, and first time we will check for the view task. No task yet. We got the message here, and We will make the indentation looks because it is not looking that good. We will add the line breaks, but we will do that to make it prettier in the next part, or maybe in any other part of this series. So let's go for the one add task into the system learning Rust, and okay, enter it. So task added successfully, and this time we will view our task. So it's the number one. You can easily see that, or I can terminate it, and you will see now by now check this are no tasks yet, and we will add that task in the Rust. View it again. So the ID is 1, and you can clearly see that the ID is 1 and the status is no, it's not completed, and the description is learning Rust. Okay, so this time we will go to okay. So that's it for this part 4, and in this part we have added the struct to do app, and we have implemented three major functions for this to do app: struct, initialization, the add task, and the view task for that. And now in the next part we are going to implement the update task and delete task, which is a little bit more trickier than the add or view task. And there will be new things which you guys will going to learn. And so that's it for now. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.